Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Infinity. Hopefully today's video shouldn't be too long or complicated, but there are a couple of cool things that I want to try and build today. Most of it has come from advice from the community, which is very, very cool. You guys have taught me some new stuff and told me about a few little bits and pieces that I didn't know about, which is always nice. Got ourselves a couple of free hats there that we didn't have before. So, first of all, let's get indoors before anything nasty happens, and let's just dump all of the junk I've just picked up from those squidlies, including the XP. So, first of all, as you can probably hear, the macerator is still going away. It's still working its way through the massive backlog of ores and stuff. It's currently working its way through the silver. There's quite a lot of crushed ore that still needs to be done. I've got a feeling that the vast majority of that is probably sorted. Now, the biggest issue that we had at the end of the last video was I had built this system here to basically go and turn some cobblestone into lava. Now, we got the system up and running, but the problem with it was basically using every last bit of power that our reactor was putting out, even when the magma crucible wasn't actually doing anything. So, based on the advice of you guys, I have built a energy cell. Just built a leadstone one because it was the cheapest and easiest to build. From what I can tell, the only difference between the different types is that they hold more energy, because these energy cells seem to work a little bit like the industrial craft bat boxes and MFEs and things like that. I think they're designed more as a storage cell, but you can actually limit the maximum input and the maximum output, as well as configuring the sides individually, whether you want them to be input, output, or both. Now, I didn't know whether you guys meant the thermal expansion energy cells or the applied energistics energy cells, because there are two, and they're both called energy cells. I figured the thermal expansion one was most likely, given the flux ducts that we're using are thermal expansion, and the magma crucible itself is thermal expansion. Now, it has dropped a little bit. I did let it get up to full. I'm just going to put the maximum input a couple of ticks. There we go. So, what I've got now is it's currently set to 50 RF per tick. Now, it says we can increase and decrease it by 50. If you hold control, you can put it down to sort of 5. If you hold shift, you can do it in thousands and things like that. But basically, what this means is this box has currently fully charged because I put the input up higher than the output to make sure it charged up full. So now that this box is fully charged, it will never be able to output more than 50 RF per tick, and it will never be able to take more than 50 RF per tick from the reactor. So the power in here is going to drop down low, and when it drops low it can't melt the cobblestone, but it slowly ticks up. As you can see, I mean, the ticks are pretty fast, but it's only going up 50 RT per tick, and when it gets up to enough power to smelt the cobble, it will do. So that means that we can have cobblestone in there ready to go. It will take quite some time. It's not going to be a quick process, but it does mean that the reactor will actually still be able to make some power. Now, bear in mind the ME system is using quite a bit of power at the moment because it's still macerating all of that ore and making those ingots. Now, obviously, the macerator and the furnace are actually using IC power from the solar panel system, but it is having to use a lot of power to pull the stuff in and out through the import and export buses, and I think that's where a lot of the power is going. So we are currently making some power, and we're not going to be running the magma crucible full time, just until the tank is full, because currently we've got the control rod in at 30%, so the reactor is working quite hard. But the good thing is, at the moment, our ME system is working, our reactor is producing some power and it's not at max, and we basically can leave the magma crucible running without having to worry about it too much. So what I want to do today is something that I think it was Duncan that suggested, and it sounds like a really, really cool idea. And so obviously we've got this ME system, which is basically a big computer network, but we're going to make a wireless access point, or basically it's like having an iPad or a PDA, a terminal that we can carry around, and we can actually access the ME network without having to go over to a terminal in the wall. Now, obviously, there is a limit to the range of the wireless, and it does use power, and the terminal itself has to be charged. Now, there are a few bits and pieces that we need in order to do it. I've been looking through a lot of the stuff that I need. Looks like we've finished macerating now. It's just working on the crushed ores and stuff. Let's just have a quick look and make sure there are no other types of crushed ore that I'm missing. No, just the silver, and it's working on that fine. So let's go and sleep this off just so that the solar panels can keep going. So there's a few different bits and pieces that we actually need in order to make ourselves a wireless system. So I've actually lost the comment. I can't find it because YouTube have changed the way that content creators can sort through comments, and it's a real pain in the hoop. So I've lost the message that Duncan actually sent me with how to do this, but I've had a quick look up on the wiki, and I think I've got the parts in the right order. I have pre-built some of the bits and pieces that we need just to get things along a little bit quicker, but we should be able to get most of the stuff we need. So the first thing we're going to need is an ME security terminal, this thing here. Now, it is quite expensive to build because it requires an ME chest. I've already gone and built the chest because we've done one of those before. Now, it requires a 16K storage component, which is made up from multiple 4K storage components, which is made up from multiple 1K storage components. We've built the 1K ones before. They're damn expensive to make, but, you know, I'm using quite a lot of my materials. I've gone and got the 4K ones. And we've got the chest somewhere as well. There they are, right at the beginning. So we've got the 4K ones. I'm sure I built the chest. Yep, there's the chest right there. What else do we need for it? Sometimes this linked thing doesn't always work the way that you want it to. ME security terminal, where have you gone? There you are. That's not how I wanted you to work. ME security terminal. So we've got the chest. Let's make this first. Let's make the 16K storage component first. So we're going to need a quartz glass, some glowstone, and an engineering processor. I'm sure I've got the engineer. In fact, I've got multiple processors in there somewhere. Let's take the calculation processors and the engineering processors. I think I built the right number, but I could be wrong. We're going to need some glowstone. Luckily, we've got plenty. Let's just go ahead and take 4. And we also need the quartz glass as well. We've got plenty of that. So there's the quartz glass. So that should now allow us to build our ME security terminal. Well, not the terminal. We need to build this thing first. We should have all the parts to build that. And we do. Fantastic. And obviously it's taken the glowstone and all the glass and everything else we needed out of the system. What else do we need in order to build it? Well, we've got the chest. We've got another engineering processor. Iron ingots are straightforward. So we've got glass cables. We've got everything we need, I think, to build that. So there we go, awesome. We already have ourselves the ME security terminal. Now, I'm going to pop this down in here, and I'm going to put it on this connection right here. So it's using the same cable as this little terminal. So this is our security terminal. We can deposit. User is allowed to store new items into storage. User is allowed to remove items from storage. User can initiate new crafting jobs. So we can actually use a biometric card editor. This is quite cool then. So biometrics isn't something that I've looked at the moment, but biometrics is apparently, if you use this terminal, only someone who's got the right sort of biometric card can use it. So you can basically allow different people to access different parts of the network, which is quite cool. So this is basically going to act as our router and security system, and that should be all connected up. It should be getting power from this thing over here. Hopefully the ME system is still getting power, and it does seem to be. Haven't connected it to a smart cable, so it's difficult to tell whether or not this thing is actually getting any power. Not sure why I can't see anything in there. I'm going to assume just for the time being that it is working, because this terminal is working. So there's no reason why this one shouldn't be. So the next thing we're going to need is actually need a wireless access point. So this is basically going to be the cable that we connect to, and it's this thing here, the ME wireless access point. Now it does have a limited range, and it is basically made using a wireless receiver. Now the wireless receiver is made using an ender pearl and some fluix crystals and fluix dust. Okay, do I have any fluix dust left over? No, I don't. I do have fluix crystals. let's go ahead and just make some Sphax dust. I knew there was going to be a few bits and pieces that I didn't have, which is typical. So let's go ahead and just put a few... can we not macerate the actual crystal? No, you've got to do the normal stuff, haven't you? There we go. Sphax. So we need to just macerate up some of these normal crystals. There we go, that'll work. And I'm going to do 8 because I think I need to make 2 of... what am I looking for? Again, it's the ME wireless access point. So I actually think I need to make 2 of these wireless receivers because I need to make them for... I need to make 1 for the access point and I need to make 1 for the actual terminal as well. So I'm going to need 2 ender pearls. So this should be easy enough to make. I do have ender pearls. What's that we've got there? That's Enderman head. Awesome. So a couple of ender pearls. Obviously, this is all going to get sucked out and go straight into the system, which is a little bit annoying. But we can go ahead and drop that back in there. So we want the ME wireless. And it is this thing here. Specifically this bit that we want to make. Do we have all the bits we need to make it? Well, we certainly have all the bits we need to make 1. We're just waiting on 1 dust, which we should have in the system. Oh, I screwed that up, didn't I? I want to go in there and shift click. There we go. So we've got both of those now. So we can make 2 of those. We need 2 quartz fiber. Well, iron ingots we've got plenty of. Quartz fiber cables, do we have those? Apparently we do. So we need to make 2 of those. Brilliant. Okay, let's get rid of those. Don't need those anymore. Get rid of the rest of the recipe. We also need a calculation processor and an ME glass cable. Well, I've got those, so let's go ahead and grab our access point. Brilliant. So what I'm going to do with this thing is I've decided I'm going to put it down on this floor here, and I've pulled another smart cable off the backbone here, off our dense cable. And I want to attach it to that. There we go. So there's our wireless access point. Now, I think these have a range of about... there we go. It's kicked in now. I think they have a range of about 16 blocks. Yeah, range 16 meters. So it's 16 blocks. And it's using 8 energy per tick. Now, we can put some wireless cards in there. Oh, we can actually change it between different energy types. That's quite cool. Brilliant. So it's using 8 AE per tick. So what we need to do now is extend the range. And we do that with, I think it's wireless repeaters. So let's go and build a couple of those. I think they were relatively easy to build. Wireless, yeah, looks like those things there. That was it. Wireless booster. There we go. So I think these things are relatively cheap to build. So we are going to need some Sphax dust. And we are going to need some ender dust. So let's just go back upstairs to our macerator. Let us go and grab another couple of Sphax crystals. And let us go and grab an ender pearl. How many ender pearls are we going to need? I don't know how many dust you get from a single pearl. I can't remember whether it's 1 for 1. Let's just grind one up and find out. See how many we get. No, we did only get 1. So we are going to need another ender pearl. We're going to have to go off and try and find some endermen at some point, just so we can reclaim some of the ender pearls. Obviously, we used quite a lot of them when we made the elevators, but they were certainly worth it. So let's go ahead and macerate up that ender pearl and just wait for that to be done and get in the system. Got most of the stuff that we need now. So what was it we were looking for? It was the wireless boosters. And should be able to afford to make a couple of these. And you actually get 2 anyway. Okay, that's pretty cool. As I've made the ingredients for 4, let's go ahead and grab all 4. Didn't realise you actually got 2 from it. Thought it was just 1. So what we should be able to do now is put these in here. So that increases it to 17 meters. That increases it to 18.8. That increases it to 21.1. That increases it to 24. So as you can see, the more of these you put in, the more range you get, but it also increases the power exponentially as well. But now we have a 24-meter range, and all we need to build is the actual wireless terminal itself, which is this thing. There's two versions of it because one of them is charged and the other one is not. So this requires an ME terminal, which I've already got one knocking around in the system somewhere. Wireless receiver, well, we've got one of those because we just built a spare one. So now we need a dense energy cell. And a dense energy cell is made from 8 normal energy cells, which are made from a load of Fluix dust once more. So we're going to need 8 times 4. So we're going to need 30, is that right? 8 times 4, 16, 32. Yeah, 32 Fluix dust, which I don't think we're going to be able to get, because we don't have enough Fluix crystals. So let's go ahead and macerate those up anyway. Get them going. Did I not pick them up? No, I didn't, did I? I've done what I usually do, and I've gone and left them in the crafting interface. Yep, there we go. Always get that wrong. So yeah, they can go in the macerator, and then what we'll do is we will go and make some more. So I'll go and do those. I'm on the wrong floor, so I'll pop up to the top floor and just throw them in the water. So we want to get ourselves some Ceratus quartz crystals. Let us grab, say, 20 sounds like a good number because we'll get lots from this. So 20 Ceratus quartz crystals, 20 nether quartz crystals, and we also need 20 redstone as well. Plenty of that. So let's just grab half of that, and if there's always a way to get something wrong, guarantee that I'll do it. Right, so there we go. So we've got 20 of each of those. So what I should be able to do is we'll go ahead and flick that on. And if we stand here and we throw in those, and those, shouldn't take too long. Mind you, I don't actually think we need the accelerator for these because we're not technically growing them. Done something wrong here, haven't I? I'm forgetting stuff. Also, we've got a drive here that's almost full as well. Is actually full. What have I done wrong there? Should know better than this. Fluix crystals. Oh, charged Ceratus quartz. There we go. That's why it's gone wrong. Derp. It's charged Ceratus quartz that we need. Well, we've got some of that, so that's fine. So, Ceratus quartz can go back in there. Charged, got loads of it because I was making it upstairs on the vibration chamber. So, no, not the vibration chamber, on the charger, as it happens. So, yeah, we've got everything that we need there. So this time I shouldn't cock it up. Let's go and dump in that, and that. And hopefully... Yeah, there we go, Fluix crystals. And you get 40, because I always forget it's double. So let's just go and quickly sleep things off, because we are using the macerator quite a bit. So I think we macerated 17. We needed 32. So let's just go and... well, let's just split the stack and put half of it in there. And we can put half of it back in the system. So what were we doing then? We were making ourselves the... That sounded a lot like a spider or a creeper or something. Maybe it fell off the roof. I don't know. So we are going to need to grab ourselves the ME wireless... No, just wireless terminal. So that... Where are you? Lost you again already. There we go. So we need that. We've got that part. We've got that part. We're making this bit. I've got a calculation processor somewhere. So we've got plenty of quartz glass. We've got plenty of charged Ceratus quartz, I think. If not, we can always make some more. It's relatively quick to do. We've got the quartz glass. So we need to make 8 of these. So we can make 1. We can make 2. We can make 3. We can make 4. 5. 6. Now we're just running out of the Fluix dust, which is understandable because we're just waiting for the macerator to get through and grind all of that out. So just give the macerator a few seconds. I really must get around to doing these extra overclockers because I built the solar distillery ages ago and still haven't, even though the canning machine is absolutely full of distilled water, I still haven't gone ahead and done those overclockers yet. I wish it would automatically just put the thing in here. Draconium dust. There's the rest of our Fluix dust. We can put that in there. Should still be going up. I'll just wait until that hits 4 and then I know I've definitely got enough for it to do the next one. There we go. Should any second now. There we go. So we've got 7 and we've got 8. Fantastic. Okay, we've got all that we need there. And what was that? Was that just surrounding a processor? So wireless, click on there so I don't accidentally hit the thing. Yes, this bit, isn't it, that we want? Yeah, so calculation processor, I'm sure there is one in there somewhere, yeah. Actually, I had it in my inventory, so we can get rid of that now. And we need the... well, we've got all of those bits. So that should build the wireless terminal. Now then, the wireless terminal does need charging. And it's not linked to anything. Now, apparently, you charge it up from the vibration chamber. Or from the charger, which we will do. However, I wondered if it was possible, because you can... It says you can charge it up with a charger. I wondered if it worked in this. It actually does. So we can actually charge it up in the MFE, which is strange, because if it's in... Oh, it's still in the MFE. If it's in my inventory... Oh, wrong button. Yeah, the charge isn't going up. I was wondering if it would actually charge up from my... I think that's fully charged now. I was wondering if it would actually charge up from my nanosuit, because obviously anything that I'm carrying that's IC2, such as the nano saber and the mining laser, they charge from it. It does mean that we can use our solar power to keep it charged, which is really, really nice. Now, we can't use it because if we right-click, it says device is not linked. So we have to go back up to our security terminal and drop it in this little box up here in the top right-hand corner. And then that goes down here. And it now says that it is linked. So if I right-click, we have wireless remote access to our AE system. I think it only actually uses power if we take stuff in and out. Now, what sort of range do we have on it? It, if we just go down... Well, I mean, it was working all the way up here. I wonder if this actually counts as having a range. I mean, I'm not sure. I think it's just the terminal, to be honest. Still works up here. Doesn't work up here on this floor. Now, obviously, we can extend the range of the wireless terminals. We can also run some other cables around. As someone suggested, run a cable along underneath the bridge, and then we can get it out towards where the quarry is, which will be really, really useful. So it doesn't quite reach up to the quarry level. If we start going down, so it still works down here. It doesn't quite work down here, so that's not a bad range, and that's just for one wireless access point. So I guess it's going to be, you know, it's a 24 block range. Apparently there's no limit to the number of access points you can have on the system, and I think there's no limit to the number of boosters you can have on an access point, although I'd suspect that it's limited to a single stack. That said, though, it's probably more economical energy-wise to just have multiple access points spread around. The downside of that, of course, is they're fairly expensive to build, and you're going to be using quite a few channels on the ME system. So if you want to save channels and you want to save materials, you can just put in multiple boosters, but that's just going to use up more power. So it's a bit of a trade-off one way or the other. It should mean, however, that I can sort of come relatively far from the house and still access the system. So we can still access it out here. Just got out of range slightly. Out of range, out of range, out of range. There we go. So pretty much level with the blueberry bushes. We've still got range out here. That's not too bad. I mean, it's certainly better than having to go over to the terminals all the time. And mainly this was just a test, just to make sure that we could get it up and running, and it was. Does this thing still have full power? No, No, it does actually lose a little bit of energy. Let's go ahead and just grab the ME storage cell. We will just have a quick look at the quarry just before we end the video, because I did end the quarry. I did empty the quarry a little bit earlier. Obviously, it took quite a bit of time doing the prep for the, you know, making that stuff, making some of the bits and pieces, and getting some of the stuff to crush and macerate and stuff. And I still didn't get everything done, but how are we doing here? Still got 29 peat in those. The engines are pretty good as well. There's probably not a lot in here. Few bits and pieces. It's not really worth changing it, but well, we're here, so we might as well do it. Have we hit the bottom yet? Have we found anything exciting? No, we haven't. Let's just put the jetpack on. We'll just have a little drop down and just see where we are. We are at level 27, so there's still a little bit of a way to go. Looks like we've got ourselves another hive down there. I think what I will do as well is I'm just going to go over here and, whoops, just make sure that this thing is on low focus. And we'll just go ahead and grab that, I think that was Yellorium, wasn't it? Yep. We'll grab that out of there. I won't bother with these ones because the quarry's going to pick those up. Obviously, it doesn't get the ones in the walls. But that means now that we'll have a little bit more fuel for the system. Fantastic. So I'm really beginning to enjoy this ME thing now. It's a little bit complicated to get going, and I think the worst part of it is the whole getting started and having to farm crystals or farm quartz and then grow crystals and charge crystals and stuff like that. It's never explained anywhere very well, and I think that's the big problem. Did I leave this thing turned on? No, I didn't. I turned it off. That was fantastic. We need to empty you. Job done. And then we can just go and put both of those back into the ME system, and I don't even have to go over to the terminal. So there we go. So thanks a lot to both Duncan and a few other members of the community. We now have wireless access to our ME system, and we also have a decent supply of lava. I'm not going to bother going over and checking the... reactor, there we go, but it's still smelting the cobblestone away. It will take quite some time, which is the idea. I know it's going to take ages, but it's producing lava more quickly than I'm using lava, so that's good enough for me. And as you can see, it's already completely filled the smeltery, so everything now is going into this tank. Yes, it is a bit ugly, but it is practical, and that's what these industrial mod packs have always been about. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you are still enjoying Feed the Beast Infinity, and I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye for now.